Warning, censorship. Warning, censorship. Warning, censorship.
Oh, hi everybody, Ezra Levant here. How you doing? It's Monday, November 30th, 12 noon Eastern time. As you may know, every day at 12 noon Eastern, we do a live stream. We call it the daily live stream. I also do a show at 8 p.m. at night. That's behind a paywall. Love for you to join that. Just go to rebelnews.com and click subscribe. Wow, it's been a busy week. The barbecue rebellion dominated our attention. We've been sending reporters down there all weekend just to take a peek. In fact, some of our people live nearby there, so they would pop by when they were running errands or whatever out at midnight. And do we have any viz? Like even just grab some B-roll from Twitter. If you thought that police cars, policemen were a surrogate, a proxy of how serious a crime scene is, you could be forgiven for thinking that this shut smoked meat restaurant is the #1 crime scene in, well, I think probably North America right now. There are more police at this restaurant now than I can't think of any other crime scene. Like, this is what you do at a mass shooting event or a terrorist event. Because, of course, they shut down the barbecue on Thursday. And this is the scene this morning, right? This is from this morning. So just click on those just to pump up the size of those viz. A little bit rainy out there. So you got police cars, police barricades. You got next one there, cars on the road patrolling, fences. You got guards at the doors in the rain. That's this very morning. Can we get something from last night? The police have been there for a week now. Dozens. It peaked at over 100 police. This is not a crime scene, by the way. This was from late last night. I think one of our guys popped by. You can see policemen, police vehicles. Yeah, there's a police car there, SUV. Yeah, all those lights there are cops. I want to let you know, just in case it's legally important to know, no crime was committed in this restaurant and no crime was alleged. What do I mean by that? How could that be if Adam Skelly, the restaurateur, was arrested, handcuffed, thrown in a high security jail at a police station for 30 hours. How can that be if you had 100 police plus 4 riot police on horses, plus 50 cars, plus a week of police presence? How can that be? How can what I'm saying be true if I tell you that there's no crime there? Well, because public health orders are not criminal law. And under the Recovery and Renewal Act of Ontario, whatever it's called, there is no contemplation that police will enforce it. We took you through the law on Friday. I'm not going to do it again now. The only mentions of police in the entire law are in 2 rare occasions. If someone is physically going through the town, coughing on people, spreading illness, a typhoid Mary situation, the medical officer of health can apply to a court to get a court order to get the police to grab that guy and actually, with the court order, get him tested, even examine him, and even give him meds. That's an extreme power. Obviously, you want police, essentially kidnapping a guy. You don't want to do that yourself. That's one of the instances. The other is if there is some place that is obstructed, like if there's I'm just going to make up an example, some crazy cat lady who's got 100 cats in her house and there's an infection and she won't let people in, and there's some rabies or something and she won't let you in. If you go to court and swear evidence and apply to a judge, that judge may give an order to police to go and break open the house and go in and do something. Those are the only 2 instances in the law where police are contemplated. And obviously they're just to do a physically dangerous task, grab a guy off the street or bust down a door. The rest of the pandemic legislation and regulation does not contemplate a police presence at all. We don't have policemen enforcing health politics. We just don't. And so the fact that you have spent at least $1 million worth of taxpayers' money taking police off other beats and putting them on the smoked meat beat shows how insane this is. On Friday, should we go through my string of tweets on Friday? You know the one I did where I went through it, and I think we did a little news write-up of it. I think Dave did a little write. I see the super chats, by the way. Thank you for that. I will come back to the super chats. We always do, just for those who don't know. We have a lively comment section. I'd invite you to chat away as I go at it. And if you want me to read your chats, make it a super chat. I'll come back to them later. I don't want to interrupt my stream of consciousness every 5 minutes, but I will go through all the super chats. We always do. So thank you for that. And the reason we love the super chats is that YouTube actually shares some of the revenue with us, which keeps our lights on. Do you know what I'm talking about? Like on Friday, it started with a clip by a superintendent. I'm gonna detour. I didn't mean to go down this, but I realize now I tweeted all this on a Friday night, which is sort of a dead zone news-wise. So on Friday, Justin, you'll remember, we went through the law, just looking at it, what are the powers of police, and we found that there were only 2 powers police had to intervene, and that's only with a court order, which did not happen in this case. So why are there so many police there? And who's paying for them? Well, as Joe Warmington found out, these police are not being paid by the police department. They're not being directed by the police department. They have been hired as private security by the mayor. I know that sounds insane, but the Toronto Police Service does not believe this is a crime scene. It is not a crime scene. No crime has been alleged. No criminal charges have been laid. It's outrageous that a man was arrested, handcuffed, and jailed overnight for what's essentially a ticket. This is the mayor abusing power. And so I used to be a lawyer, and I still sometimes think like a lawyer. And so on Friday together, we went through this, and we showed that police don't have a role in implementing these public health laws. They just don't. We don't live in a police state. Police are trained for many things. They're experts in many things. Health advice is not one of them. So how did it come to be that they grabbed a guy away from his restaurant, locked his doors, kicked everyone off, and have basically made it their place now? How did the police get to do that? That's an important question, because we don't live in a police state. So on Friday after work, instead of going straight home, I started puttering and looking. And if you got it, and it starts with so go to my very first tweet there, where I refer to, so click on that tweet there, and then that'll give you the thread. Okay, so this is me on Friday night. What time did I do this? Just scroll down a tiny bit there. It doesn't quite say. It doesn't matter. Friday night. So I say, I just watched Superintendent Sinopolis' press conference here. He says he received an order from Davila, that's the public health officer, under the Health Protection Act to seize Adamson Barbecue. But she has no such power under the law. She has to go to a judge to get an order. Did she? Now, can you click on that CP24 link there? And just, it's pretty quick in that video there. Yeah, pretty quick. And if there's some ads, we'll wait till, we'll wait till they're over before putting it up there. So all this hullabaloo downtown, sorry, not downtown, in Etobicoke. And what's going on? Who's the boss? How did this happen? I don't know if people were asking the mayor and the police and the public health officer that question, or if the superintendent, his name is Sinopoli, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, seems like a really good cop, by the way. I mean, he's just got that cop feeling to him. And so he's coming to do a press conference to explain how it happened. And you just jump right in. Here, watch what he says.
Situation at Adamson Barbecue. Let's go live to 22 Division.
Yesterday and today, as you're all aware, we were at Adamson's Barbecue at 7 Queen Elizabeth Way. Last night, we received an order from Dr. Davila, essentially giving us power under the, or her power under the Health Protection Act to see.
So he accidentally called her justice because he's used to getting orders from judges. He's never gotten an order from a doctor before. Essentially giving us her power. Hang on, what's the word essentially? Either she did or she didn't. What does it mean, essentially? And he named the act, right? He said the Health Recovery Act or whatever he called it. So go back to my tweets. We're going to take 10 minutes on this, folks. But I think you're going to end up with a lot of questions about the legal authority here. So if you go back to the tweet there, if you don't mind, Justin. So I start out by saying, I just watched Superintendent Sinopoli's press conference here, and I just played you that clip. He says he received an order from Dr. Davila. I don't even want to call her a doctor because she doesn't practice medicine. She practices politics. She just happens to have an MD. Under the Health Protection Act, that was the law he cited, to seize the barbecue. But she has no such power under the law. She has to go to a judge to get an order. Did she? Okay, scroll down. Let's go to the next tweet. I did about 10 tweets in a row. To be accurate, Superintendent Sinopoli said Davila, quote, essentially gave us her power under the act. What does that mean? Can we see this so-called order? Is Davila a judge now? Since when do hand-picked health bureaucrats of the mayor's office order police to do things? What the hell? Here's a copy of the Health Protection Act. Police are mentioned in only 2 cases, arresting a Typhoid Mary type super spreader under Section 35 and having access to a locked premises under Section 43. Neither apply to your 100 cop SWAT style rate. That's what we went through on Friday. Let's keep going. Even if you used those 2 sections, Davila does not have that power. She has to go to a real court to ask the judge for a warrant. Only a judge can then direct the police to enforce her will. And then I'm writing to the cops here. I'm saying, did you in fact go to court? Again, can we see this order, please? Next one. Who made the decision to send in all the King's horses and all the King's men? Was that an operational decision made by Toronto Police, or was that a political spectacle ordered by Davila or John Tory, the mayor? On what operational grounds do you justify such a shocking display? And we learned the answer to that from Joe Warmington. They were hired hands, not on the Toronto Police payroll. They were hired by the mayor's office as his personal detail. 6. Under what legal authority does an unelected, unaccountable public health bureaucrat, not a policeman, not a judge, command the largest police force in Canada to roll out the riot squad? What is your legal basis for listening to a bureaucrat's unilateral orders? Like seriously, she just has this street team now, eh? This photo taken by Joe Warmington appears to show the legal basis for shutting down Adamson's Barbecue, a Section 13 health order. You want to click on that and really blow it up as big as you can. So I looked at this. Can you look at it there? It's a Section 13 public health order. You see that? And it's signed by Davila. Okay, shrink it down. Let's go to the next one. You can read Section 13 for yourself here. Read Section 14 too, though. It outlines what the government can do if someone like Adam Skelly simply refuses to comply with the order. Now, as you can see, I take little screenshots of them in the next tweet. I say, here is the full list. This is, I think, the most important tweet. This is the full list of things that the health boss, Davila, can do under the law. You'll notice the word police is nowhere in there. Neither is riot police or police horses. So click on this. I think I took 4 screenshots. Can you pump that up just a tiny bit? So this is the law. Thanks. So this is the law that was listed on the door for the order closing the place. So Justin's just taking a second for something here. Is there a problem with the tweet, or is just you got a computer issue? Oh, you got to do it a different way. All right, I'll hold my horses. I just want to make it slightly bigger for my eyes and for your eyes. I probably need to get a stronger prescription, frankly. Yeah, thanks, Justin. So this is from the law that Davila used to order this place closed. Directions by medical officer of health. So that's Davila. A medical officer of health, in the circumstances specified in subsection 2, that's right next. That's the next one. May give directions in accordance with subsection 3 to the persons whose services are engaged by or to agents of the Board of Health of the health unit served by the medical officer of health. Let me cut through the gobbledygook and say that in plain language. This section 14 says who Davila can order to do things and on what basis. But notice to whom? Not to the police, just to agents of the Board of Health. The Toronto Police Service does not work for the Board of Health, much as she may wish they do. Neither does the Army, Air Force, or Navy, just in case you were thinking of deploying them against the smoke meat restaurant too. Okay, so subsection 2, when the medical officer of health may give directions. A medical officer of health may give directions to her staff in accordance with subsection 3, we'll get there, where the medical officer of health is of the opinion, upon reasonable and probable grounds, that a health hazard exists in the health unit and the person to whom an order is or would be directed under section 13, A, has refused to or is not complying with the order, B, is not likely to comply with the order promptly, C, cannot be readily identified or located, and as a result the order would not be carried out promptly. And can we go to the next, Justin's pumping it up really big on the screen so we can all read it together. So what am I doing here? I'm showing you, or D, request the assistance of the medical officer of health in eliminating or decreasing the effect of the health hazard. Let's keep reading. Contents of directions. Under this section, a medical officer of health may direct the persons whose services are engaged by or the agents of the board. That's so important. It's not the police, it's her own staff, to take such action as is specified in the directions in respect of eliminating or decreasing the health hazard. Directions under this section, and this is so important, because so we just talked about who can do it, who she can order to do it, the grounds on which she can order, and here's what she can do. Let me show you what she can do. So let's say Davila is being ordered by the mayor to crush Adam Skelly and Adamson's barbecue, because she was. So much so that the city hall put out a bizarre press release saying the mayor doesn't call the shots. He obviously does. So let's say Davila has been told by John Tory, crush this man. All right. And let's say she says, well, something's wrong there. I'm going to use the powers I have in section 13 and 14. So the first thing we learn is that she does not have the power to command the police. Of course not. She's not a police chief. She's not a police commission. She's a hand-picked assistant to the mayor. Pretty cool. I mean, she makes over $300 grand a year. Nice job if you can get it. But she's not the police chief. She has staff, but the Toronto Police Service is not her staff. And we know this because the police are mentioned by name elsewhere in this same law, and she has to go to court to get an order to get them to do just those two things, catch a typhoid Mary or open up an obstruction. Those are the only two things she can get the cops to do. So let's say Davila is ordered by John Tory to do something. Let's say she says she has the grounds. She can order her staff to do what? To do what? Let's list. To arrest a man and throw him in jail. To do what? A, authorizing and requiring the placarding of premises specified in the directions to give notice of the existence of a health hazard or an order. So we saw that. So they put a little placard in the window. All right. So she did that. Where's the part about arresting a guy, grabbing him? B, requiring the doing of work specified in the directions in, on, or about any premises. Requiring the removal of anything the directions state is a health hazard from premises. So that's if you've got some, poisonous thing. I'm just going to make up an example, a dog with rabies. D, requiring the detention of a person? The detention of Adam Skelly? No. The detention of any matter or thing removed from any premises. So that would be like some infectious, dead goat with maggots in it. I'm making up a gross example. That's what they mean by a thing. E, requiring the cleaning or disinfecting of, or both, of the premises. F, requiring the destruction of anything specified in the directions. And that is it. I just read you the 6 things she can do under the Act. Those are the 6 things she can do. Not with the police, with her own staff. Okay, so she put up a placard. Where's seize a business in there? Do you see it? Where's kidnap a businessman, put him in a police van, take him to police station and detain him overnight? Did you see that part? I didn't see that part. Okay, go back to my tweets if you would be so kind, Justin. Do you see what I'm saying? You have 100 cops, 4 horses, 50 vehicles, big hullabaloo. The mayor's doing a shock and awe. Number one, you find out they're not actually being directed by Toronto Police. They're hired gang, really, hired security by the mayor. Number 2, we find out what the actual order was. We saw it on the door. We looked at the law. She doesn't have the power to arrest a man. Of course not. She's just some politician. She's a health politician. Even if she went to court, she could only arrest a Typhoid Mary situation or break into a place only with a court order using police. Otherwise, she has no access to police. What she can do, the 6 things we just outlined, were put up placards. If there's something infectious, clean it, remove it. No one is alleging that the smoked meat was infected. No one's alleging that. Basically, Davila can put up signs, disinfect things, and take away infected things. This is what you'd use if you found, say, a house with a bunch of rats in it with rabies. There's nothing in the law about police or raiding a man's restaurant and seizing it or arresting him. If there is a source of authority I'm missing, let me know. Toronto Police Operations, Toronto Police, John Tory, James Raymer, TPS, that's the police chief. But Superintendent Sinopoli clearly said it was an order under the Health Protection Act. I simply don't believe that such an order exists, or if it does, that it's valid. Unless there's another source of authority for this raid, it is illegal. It is beyond the power of a health bureaucrat to order the police to do anything. And it is illegal for the police to take invalid orders from any bureaucrat or politician. The Health Protection Act specifically requires health bureaucrats to go to a judge to get a warrant. If she skipped that because she didn't want to go through due process and just wanted an immediate political show of force, that's abuse of process and abuse of office. There's clearly massive political pressure on the police to do something, anything, so much so that someone who in the city felt compelled to put out a press release scolding the mayor for ordering the police to do his errands. I'm not going to read it, but that's the layer chiding the mayor. Was yesterday's 6 a.m. police raid and door locking, in fact, an act of trespass and mischief by the police, doing an illegal political errand under the color of law? Was their arrest of Adam Skelly, in fact, an assault and false arrest and false imprisonment? I don't know. Perhaps Superintendent Sinopoli can release a copy of the order that he received from not a judge, but from the mayor's handpicked health bureaucrat. The miraculous order that saw the biggest police operation since the G20. I mean, if it's legit, we can see it, right? Thanks for going through those, Justin. Do you see my point? I mean, we live in a country where we don't have secret orders. Very rarely there is a secret order. Often it's involving a minor child to protect their identity. In some extreme cases, for example, if there was a sex crime, to protect the identity of the victim. There are some very time-limited secret orders where catching a criminal by surprise is, like for example, some forms of search and seizure warrants. I just forgot the name. It's been so long since I've been in law school. There was a kind of warrant that was invented when there was a ship that was about to sail, and I think Anton Pillar. There you go. You want to Google ANTONPILLAR? Anton Pillar order. Look at that. It's coming back from. It's been 30 years since law school, 25 years since law school, and it's coming back to me. There are some orders you can get secretly, but the secrecy ends very quickly on them. Was this a secret order? Was it an order at all? Anton Pillar. An Anton Pillar order is a form of civil search warrant that dispenses with the normal rules on discovery of records. It enables the applicant to attend the premises of the defendant without notice and take possession of the records of the defendant. Thanks very much. So basically, there are a few extreme instances where you can do a sneaky attack on someone. Anton Pillar order. But that's not what was alleged here. What was alleged is that it was under a particular act. I forget the name, Health Recovery Act or whatever. Can I see the order, please? It's not secret, is it? You wouldn't have made that whole thing up, would you? You didn't just arrest a man because the mayor's assistant told you to, did you? And you didn't do all that as hired private security as opposed to following your police chief, did you? And the fact that you've spent $1 million on this shock and awe, and it's still the most locked down. I mean, Hell's Angels, they never have to worry about this. Antifa railway blockaders, they never have to worry about any of this. The gun gangs in Toronto, worst gun shooting year in history in Toronto, they don't have to worry about this, but my God, you want to smoke some meat and serve some sandwiches, you're going to have the full wrath of City Hall. You didn't make up this whole order, did you? You're not furiously trying to find a legal justification for literally, well, if police arrest a guy and throw him in the clink without proper cause, that is tantamount to kidnapping. We generally don't use that word. We say the word false imprisonment because we don't want to impute to the police an actual crime. But who's commanding the police? You know, if John Tory's medical assistant came to the cops and said, I order you, or as Superintendent Sinopoli said, I essentially order you. Hang on, you do or you don't? Are you essentially pregnant, or you pregnant or not? Did you catch your flight? I don't mean you essentially caught it. You did or you did not. There are certain things that are on or off, yes or no. It's not a spectrum. Did you catch your plane or not? Are you pregnant or not? Did you order the cops to do this or not? If so, can I see the order? Or was it some phone call? Did you seriously pick up the phone and command 100 cops? And under what authority? And that's super gross, but let's say you're a grown-up, like Superintendent Sinopoli is and his police chief is, and you get some phone call from some hopped-up political errand girl for the mayor who says, I want to command this many divisions, and I want all hands on deck, and pull the riot horses out of the stables, and can I get the chopper, and maybe let's borrow a tank from Canadian Forces. That's where you say, now there, you and the mayor go back to Yorkville and have some fancy lattes, and leave the policing to the police, sister. You want to tell us to do something? Get a court order. So it's crazy and kooky and embarrassing that Davila and Tory would act this way. But what's the police chief and the superintendent saying? Okay. I mean, she's a health officer. Her powers are limited. I just showed you. She can put up placards. She can disinfect things. She can grab things that are like infectious. I don't know, like if there was like a dead animal that had rabies or something. That's about it for her powers. She does not have the power to take command of Canada's largest municipal police force. That is not the case. So thanks for letting me take 25 minutes to go through that. But would you agree with me but we need some answers about the legal authority for the raid and arrest and detention of Adam Skelly and the trespass and mischief and locking and seizure of his property. Would you agree with me that we need to see this essentially order? Is it an order or not? Is it essentially an order? Or that says to me it's not actually an order, but it's like an order. But that's not contemplated in the law. We just went through the law. We read sections 13 and 14 together, didn't we? You would think that the media would care about civil liberties. And by media, I mean the media party. You would be wrong. You would be wrong. Let's read some super chats. Noble Canadian, $15. Don't know what you think about Q, the entertainer at various protests, but he was arrested in Windsor, Ontario during our freedom protest. For more detail, look at Questioning COVID Windsor Facebook group. I don't know Q, the entertainer. I'm sorry. Do you know Q, the entertainer? Do you know what I'm talking about? Sorry, I just don't know what you're talking about. Flat Earth Data, $7. Isn't it possible the government is making it look like a bad cop and now the United Nations will come in like the good cop, bait and switch? To me, they're both looking like bad cops, and it ain't pretty. Noble Canadian again, $5. Correction, Q was arrested at the end of our protest in Windsor, Ontario yesterday. All right, can you send me a link or something? So I just don't know what you're talking about. I'm sorry. It's not that I'm not interested. It's that the whole world is on fire right now, and I'm looking at jurisdictions all over the world. Philippe Brevard, $5. Our future now relies on the cooperation of the police to hit and harm us. Well, that's the thing. I don't believe, as I just demonstrated for 20 minutes, I don't believe the police had the authority to do what they did. Fraser McBurney, $50. Thanks, Fraser. Sunday at our Hugs Over Mask rally in Hamilton, while serving coffee across the table, a cop came over and asked to talk to me. He then handed me a $750 ticket for not social distancing. I told him they were breaking my human rights. I'll see you in court. Well, Fraser, we'll give you a lawyer. So just email legal@rebelnews.com, Legal @rebelnews.com. Send us a copy of the ticket and we'll fight it for you. Mike Fitzgerald, $5. Thank you, Ezra and team. You were awesome. Thanks very much. Fraser McBurney again. I may need your help, Ezra, to fight this ticket. Ha! Well, it looks like I was using my GST and I knew what you were going to say. Send it to legal or go to fightthefines.com. You can tell us the story there. Yeah, we're on it. The answer is yes. Dallas, Ben Tien, $5. Police are lucky no one got hurt by the horses. Families were trying to get a meal. You're so right. Can we call up the video footage taken by Lincoln? That place was packed. It was so packed that our own David Menzies was sort of toppled over. He was pushed over just by the crush of the crowd. And then to have 4 horses come, they weren't galloping like a race, but they were coming in at a fair trot. And that could have crushed, there were kids there, there were moms there, and even the men there, they were noisy, but they were not violent in any way. I want to show you how fast those horses were coming in. I think the horses were in the very first few seconds. I'm talking about Lincoln's vid. Just go ahead and play that as B-roll while I talk. Cindy McNichol, $20, pear character dancing under a rain of confetti. You are amazing. Thank you, Cindy. That's friendly. Melissa Latourre, time to say no to the China communist model they are forcing on us. Oh, you know what? That's the thing. It's China's plans for us. China is not locked down. China is booming. Yeah, see, look at this. Look at those horses coming in. Look how fast those horses are coming in. They're coming in. That's a trot. That is absolutely a trot. Why are they coming in at that pace? Why are they coming right into the crowd like that? All right, thanks. You know what? I'm so sorry, Justin. I can't believe my laptop battery is dying. I don't mean to pull you off duty there. Can you grab me my plug-in? I apologize. I just don't want this thing to shut down. I thought it was fully charged. I'll read the super chats in the meantime. Look at Justin. He's a man of many talents. He does video. He does audio. He does internet research. And when I don't bring my plug from my laptop, He goes to get it. Big thanks to Justin. I just don't want my computer. I'm sorry. What are you going to do? Thanks very much. Sorry about that. All right. Look at Justin saving the day, as he always does. All right. That's all plugged in. We're going to be fine. I guess it was low. Cindy McNichol, another $20. Cancel mainstream media. Support the rebel. They are fighting for us literally. They will do this to all of us. You're so right. You know, I'm very excited about our FightTheFines.com campaign. This morning we had a meeting where we got a lot of volunteer paralegals and lawyers. We got a lawyer to oversee it. We're revving up. I know it sounds crazy. I want to take 1,000 cases. I know that sounds crazy. I don't care. That's not crazy. Letting 1,000 cases go unresponded to. That's what's crazy. Yeah, so we're tell us your story. We'll give you free legal defense. Scroll down a tiny bit more, please. Fight the Fines. We're looking for 5,000 donors, and look at that, volunteer to provide legal assistance. I think we have about 10 volunteers. Cindy McNichol again, $5. Keep it up. Thanks, Cindy. Dr. Fi, I think that's how that's pronounced. I know sometimes an off-duty police officer will be hired by business to be on their property in uniform to help security when expecting large influxes of people like a hotel downtown on Christmas. Adams seems far beyond that. Yeah, it is a thing that you can hire police to be, a little bit more visual, a little bit more authoritative security. But to do so in such a political case and at massive expense, and they're not just security. They raided that place. They raided it, they trespassed on it. They locked the doors, they arrested people. You can't hire people to arrest people for you. That's another question I got. When Sinopoli was answering why we essentially got an order, was he acting as a policeman then or as a mercenary? I mean, we need to know a lot more there, don't you? Los Gatos massage and cryotherapy, $5. If security personnel was private, can they be sued as individuals violating businesses' owners' rights? That's a good question. I wonder if they still have some of the immunities of the Police Act. Very good question. I don't know that. Holy Tiger, $5. The corrupt media coverage of this historic Canadian event, of which there is none, just shows how it does not fit the COVID narrative. How shameful. Oh yeah. I mean, I don't know if you got that clip handy. You could call it a hot mic moment. CP24 just finished interviewing John Tory, and they sort of said, and that's it, and that's it. But they continued talking. I don't even think that was meant to go to air. Justin, you know the one I mean? The one we've shown several times before. I'm going to call that, well, let's put it to our viewers and ask them. Because it was an interview on CP24 between a reporter who hates Adam Skelly and John Tory, who hates Adam Skelly. So they were talking, and then they said, goodbye, have a good Thanksgiving, okay, cheerio, bye. And that normally you'd finish an interview where you both say goodbye, bye, thanks, goodbye, done. But immediately they kept talking. So that's why I've heard it referred to as a hot mic. And here, judge for yourself. Did they mean, when they said goodbye, goodbye, did they mean for the rest of it to be aired? Take a listen.
To our behavior at Christmas.
Mayor John Tory, we will leave it there today, and we'll all wait and watch to see what plays out at Adamson Barbecue today at 11 when that is supposed to open. Have a productive day. We'll chat with you again Friday.
Don't give this guy too much publicity. It's a political, but a lot of this is a political stunt. So,
Absolutely.
Let's be careful about that. Make a hero
but I mean,
out
that's
of this
the
guy
thing.
when, in fact,
if the police had shut it down,
he's thumbing his nose at the system.
If the police had shut it down quickly yesterday, we wouldn't have given them that much publicity. That's part of the whole problem, right? I mean, the longer this is allowed to stay open, the longer we have to cover it.
I don't think it'll be open for long today, if at all. It shouldn't be open at all if this man was any kind of a respectful citizen and a person who really wanted to, respect the best interests of his fellow Torontonians.
All right, Mayor Tory, appreciate you joining us. We'll chat again soon.
Okay, so I think it wasn't really a hot mic thing. I think they finished up the interview, and then the mayor said, I think what the mayor said was supposed to be off camera. He said, don't give this guy publicity. And I don't know if the CP24 guy thought he was off the air, but he said, okay, well, we won't, but you got to arrest him. Yeah, we will. It's basically how that went. I'm going to call that a hot mic moment, or at least a surprisingly honest moment. Fubar Snafu, $20. I guess Cruella DeVille didn't get her Dalmatian coat, so she's taking it out on small businesses. Oh, exactly right. Any media who's sneering at Adamson's barbecue, they're shopping at Costco, Walmart. They're loving the big box stores, and they can't wait to make another $1 billion a day for Jeff Bezos. I think he's making literally $1 billion a day, at least $500 million a day. His net worth is over $200 billion. I think if you divide that out, yeah, he's making $500 million a day. This is the Amazon lockdown. How you feel about that? A Southey, $5. CTV released an article questioning if citizens can refuse a COVID vaccine. So it begins. Hey, you know what? I would really like to see that. I don't know if you can find that, or A Southey, if you can send a link to that. I'd like to see that. Yorgi, $5. Justin is like your Freeland, haha. Well, he does do so many things. He puts together my nightly show. He runs these daily live streams. And when I forget to plug in my computer, he helps to save the day. Melissa Latorre, $10. Fight for your right to say no to a vaccine, no to forced vaccines. My body, my property, my right to choose. Oh yeah, where's the pro-choicers? Kane and Mark, $2. We rebels love Justin the producer. Shout out. I think I'm more or less caught up on the super chats. If not, we'll come back to them later. It's 12:41. All right, I'm just going to go through. Justin says he's got an article. Let's take a look. What happens if someone refuses vaccination? Ethicists urge clarity on COVID-19 rollout. All right, I'll look at that later. I won't go through it right now. You want to email that to me? I might even do my show tonight on it. Boy, there's so much to cover, and there's only 18 minutes left, so I'm not going to open up new lines of conversation. But I want to show you a tale of two Thanksgivings. You know, it's just the American Thanksgiving. We Canadians have our Thanksgiving a different time of year. Can you go to what I regard as the funniest tweet of 2019? And this was in the before times. And part of me thinks this is too perfect. Maybe this is scripted. You know, maybe this is just so perfect it was set up. But part of me really wants to believe this is real. My favorite tweet of 2019. Take a look.
Like, let's say there was a, apex predator like Bigfoot. There wouldn't be, thousands of them. There would only be a few. Aliens are an absolute certainty. I mean, a ever-expanding universe, the probability of human life, okay? You can agree humans exist, right? You're here, okay? That probability is so low. How about Jeffrey Epstein? Did you see, the two cops, the two prison guards got arrested? Yeah. Why do people enjoy swimming pools? Go to the beach. No. Russia interfered in our elections, 100%.
100%.
You know, you're covering Bigfoot, but from a thoughtful point of view. How many apex predators could you really have? There's a whole conversation there. Would they know each other? Do they have a language? Are there lady Bigfoots? What do they do? It's a lot of questions. I thought there's some good questions there about swimming pools versus beaches. Very thought-provoking. I just thought that was great, and that just, to me, is your perfect kind of Thanksgiving event. Families there, everyone's a little dazed because they're eating so much food, and the turkey, and the gravy, and the cranberry, and the stuffing, and some guys like that, that's usually me. And everyone can tune in or not. To me, that is Thanksgiving. Here's an image of Thanksgiving 2020. They're trying to tell you this is normal. They're trying to tell you you're the crazy one, not them. What do you think of that, folks? What do you think of that? What do you think of that? And again, is that even real? The other one was too perfect. Is this too perfect? I don't know. Things you find on the internet. It's 12:44. Lots of protests in London, United Kingdom. And What I see in the United Kingdom is what I see in Australia and what I fear is coming to Canada. Is that under the name of your health, your safety, your security, public health, political dissent is being shut down. Here's a man by himself holding a placard protesting the outrageous lockdowns. Look at the police swarm him. Take a look.
And there's lots of other people protesting the same thing in this area. As I'm sure you know, under the current health protection coronavirus regulations, any protest of 2 or more people is illegal. Okay? Now, whether you agree with that or not, okay, that is the job of the police is to enforce that, okay? And so you may well find very soon...
I'm actually not here on a protest.
You're actually not here on a protest, okay?
No.
What's the reason for your sign then, sir?
You see, I'm here to inform the public about some...
So you're here for an educational assembly, is that correct?
Yes.
Right. Okay. I mean, the fact that you're here at the same time as a protest about this very matter suggests to me quite heavily that that's not in fact why you're here, that you are here for some form of protest.
Well, I'm here, obviously, to inform people. Otherwise, I wouldn't have a placard.
Right. Okay. Well, like I say, I believe you're here for some sort of protest, sir. And therefore, under the coronavirus health protection regulations, you're in a protest of 2 or more people.
Come
on, you can't be serious. You cannot be serious. You're on overtime to...
I'm not on overtime,
harass
so no.
this bloke to do this.
We're not harassing, we're telling you.
At the moment, we're informing him of the legislation.
I've just come here, and I'm not in a company with anyone else.
We're not East Berlin or Nazi Germany.
No, we're definitely
Let
not.
people say whatever they want to say.
Sorry?
We're here to inform you at the moment of the regulations, okay? And make you know why we're here. That's why we're with you right now, okay?
I'd also
Just to make you aware.
Yeah.
He probably doesn't agree with the regulations. I don't.
We're not here to discuss
I don't know anyone
that sort of thing.
Be back. Be back.
Okay. Regardless, you are here, again, as part of the demonstration, which there are numerous other people. That puts everyone at risk with regards to the spreading of the coronavirus. That puts everyone else at risk with regards to potential spreading of the coronavirus.
Why?
It does indeed, sir, yes. Now,
police were once the most respected and most admired, most trusted, most loved in the world. They really invented modern policing. Sir Robert Peel, that's where the phrase bobbies come from. They call their police bobbies. That's why for so long police in the UK, and to a great extent even today, don't carry sidearms. They don't carry guns because their moral authority is so strong. But every day they murder their own reputation. It's a disgrace. Again, like in Canada, I think it's one thing for the mayor's public health assistant to call up the cops and say, send 100 troops to get rid of the mayor's enemy. The proper response is, thank you, have the city solicitor contact a judge and set up an application for a hearing to request an order. Until then, stop bothering us at the police, or we'll charge you with harassing phone calls. I mean, the right response from the police force to a politician saying, get my enemies, is to tell them, no, because we're not in Venezuela or China or North Korea or Iran or Cuba. We don't do that here. And it's harder and harder to be on the side of police. I mean, so many of us want to be on the side of police against the unfair attacks on police, from Antifa, from Black Lives Matter, etc. But then you do this. And I say the difference between them going after this pensioner versus if this was a Black Lives Matter, they'd be taking a knee. I don't think it's a coincidence that they only have this courage to go after harmless pensioners, but they wouldn't touch a Black Lives Matter protest. You know, it reminds me, I want to tell you a quick story. I might have told you this before. 5 years ago, I went to Sweden. I went to the city of Malmo, which is about half Muslim and half Swedish ethnically. And it's like, you know, there's signs everywhere, refugees welcome. They're not real refugees. I met a guy in Malmo. This was his 5th country in Europe. He kept moving country to country till he found the place with the biggest welfare, the biggest free house for his family. It was an incredible, I don't even know if we have that video anymore. I went there when I was with Hannah. Don't bother looking for it now. We'll show it another day. Here's my anecdote from Malmo. So I'm interviewing a guy in Malmo, Sweden, and it's very cold out in Sweden. So we're out front of the main library in Malmo, and it's about 10, 15 minutes to closing time. But I say to this guy, I said, let's go in the library and find a quiet place, and we'll just interview in the library instead of it's very cold out. So we go in the library, and we line up to the front desk and say, oh, do you mind if I just interview this guy in a room? We'll just be 5-10 minutes. And she said, no, number one, it's a library, not a film studio. Number two, we didn't know you were coming. You haven't made any arrangements. And number three, we're closing in 10 minutes. Okay, those are 3 really good explanations for saying no, right? So I wasn't going to push the point. I'm a stranger in a strange land. And it was a slightly audacious request. But all throughout this library, there were all these huge posters about refugees are welcome, right? And I said I was from Canada. Like I just said, I'm from Canada, I'm a journalist, I'm here to interview so-and-so. And they said, well, here's 3 reasons, very good reasons. So I'm literally turning around to go, like I accept their word no, I accept it. But, I'm slightly disappointed. So I'm turning around to walk out the door, and I see this big poster that says refugees welcome. And what I'm about to tell you, I swear to God, is true. So as I'm turning to go, I say to the library front desk, I say, oh, I thought you said refugees were welcome. It was a stupid joke. It wasn't even funny. I just saw this big sign saying refugees welcome. And here I am coming in out of the cold, and it was stupid. It was not an argument. It wasn't a real argument. It was me just muttering, really. But I swear to God, as God is my witness, when I said, oh, I thought you took refugees. And I'm a white guy from Canada. I just said I'm from Canada. I said I'm a journalist from Canada. I just said who I was. I was a visitor, a tourist. I was not a refugee. I'm from Canada. I just wanted a warm place to interview someone. I accept the 3 reasons they said no. It's a library. You didn't give us notice, and we're closing in 10 minutes. I accept that. I'm turning to go. I said, oh, I thought you said refugees welcome. It was like I pushed an emergency button. It was like I gave her a clear defibrillator. It was like I don't know. I have never seen such an emergency response in my life. Immediately, that librarian, a white ethnic Swede, said, okay, wait. She called Stockholm, swear to God. They had this panicky meeting because I jokingly said, oh, I thought you said refugees were welcome. And I want to film. Like, it's got nothing to do with being a refugee. I just wanted to film because it was cold out. And I just said, oh, I thought you said refugees were welcome. And it was like I panicked them so deeply in their bones. It was like they had, I don't know. I've just never seen it. It was like a defibrillator. And they had this emergency meeting and called in the boss and phoned head office, and it was like, and the closing. But they just, oh my God, blam, blam, blam. He said the refugee word. Yeah, I'm joking. I'm joking. Oh, no, no, no. And I just realized the power of that there. These folks were so terrified of being called insensitive, racist. It was a joke. I'm a white tourist journalist who told them why I was really there. I just wanted to get in out of the cold and film for 5-10 minutes. Give me 10 minutes in a room, just so we're not freezing outside. I made a joke that I was a refugee, and they all... Now, in the end, I don't even remember how it ended. I mean, I think we had to go, and they said no in the end. But for 15 minutes, they were terrified that even in a joking way, I would say they're intolerant, racist. Racist, I'm white. And I tell you that because I swear, if that guy, that 70 or 80-year-old pensioner with a placard, had a sign saying, I identify as a young black trans woman, man, whatever, non-binary. I swear those police, and if he would have said, I am black, him being white, I am black, Black Lives Matter, only you don't colonize me. Don't you know that those two British police would have taken a knee to him, just like that Swedish librarian essentially took a knee to me when I said, I'm a refugee, let me in. Do you see what a pack of lies that whole thing is? That's a true story. 12:55, let's catch up here. I want to show you an even worse video from the UK. Do we have the one where they're swarming the guy? I just want to show this. This is how it's going in the UK. Take a look. An absolute disgrace. You know, I don't know if you noticed in the top left corner, the Sting, as it's called. It wasn't even really the Sting. That's not the Sting, that's the Bug. What am I saying? I'm getting my language wrong, my fancy pants language. A bug is what they call that little, you know, when you're watching TV, you see that little peacock in the corner, or little eye. It's a little symbol, like for ours, we have that little Rebel megaphone. That's called a bug. Sorry, I call it a Sting, that's a different thing, there's a bumper. There's all these fancy words I had to learn. That's called a bug. It's just a little thing, so it's abruptly, R-U-P-T-L-Y. That's a Russian state broadcaster, I don't know if you know that. And Ruptly is everywhere in Europe, and their specialty, I know that sounds strange, is just footage with no commentary. I've met the Ruptly stringer from London several times. Barnaby is his name. Great guy. He doesn't say a word. He's a British guy. Or actually, I think he's from somewhere else. He just points the camera. He doesn't say a word, and it's just uploaded online. There's no commentary. There's no commentary at all. He just shows things. I think there's some irony to the fact that a Russian state broadcaster called Ruptly is showing police brutality on the streets of London. I don't think the BBC would show that police brutality. Isn't that odd? The Russian state broadcaster is more honest about London than the British state broadcaster is. And I just don't know how the United Kingdom manages to criticize Vladimir Putin. There's a lot to criticize. Vladimir Putin is authoritarian. I think it's quite likely that he has, in fact, ordered the targeted assassination of his rivals and enemies. I don't even think there's that much dispute about that. I think he is undemocratic. I think he's anti-democratic. But it's a bit tough for Boris Johnson to point fingers at Putin for pushing down on democracy when that is the scene out of London every weekend. Except if it's Black Lives Matter. Then it's take a knee. Extinction Rebellion. Take a knee and get a government check. Let's read some super chats. John Day, $5. Why march him 100 yards to a waiting police car, or were they just marching him past the official media for a photo op? Yeah, I don't know. You're talking about Adam Skelly. Eric Parton, $5. I watch regularly and never heard it talked about. I've had Tim's and Loblaw staff telling me off. Also family too for not wearing a mask, 100% over my nose. This is pitting people against each other. I don't want to fight with Loblaws. I don't want to fight with Sobeys. I don't want to fight with normal people. but they're pitting us against each other. Holy Tiger, $10. Jason Kenney said no mandatory vaccines in Alberta. That's the way it should be, and every province should follow suit. Right, but what if companies say it? What if airlines say it? What if schools say it? John Day, $5. I will take a vaccine when I see Trudeau and family and every MP and family getting them in the House of Commons. That would be one symbol, but why would you take it in any event? Let's say you're talking about children. I don't know if there's a single child in Canada under 20 who's died from the virus. Like, there might be one. I think there was one, and he had underlying conditions. So there's about 10 million people under age 20 in Canada. And I think one of them, who had a lot of very serious health issues, died from the virus. 1 in 10 million. If my stats are off by 1 or 2, the point remains. Do you think a virus rushed to market that I don't think has been tested on kids, that in any event has not been tested beyond the few months the virus has been around, do you think that's going to have a higher or lower risk than 1 in 10 million? How could it possibly have a lower risk? You're literally injecting the virus into people's blood. That's what a vaccine is. An inert or low dose. I'm not a scientician, but why would you inoculate kids who have a 99.99 something % recovery rate with a vaccine that you do not know its recovery rate yet? I just don't get the math there. Ray K. When will the Conservative Party in Canada become conservative again? Thank you, Rebellions, for all you do for us Canadians. Yeah, I haven't seen the federal Conservatives. I mean, Pierre Poilievre, I give him a fair bit of credit. I've seen some opposition from the opposition parties, from Conservatives on spending. I haven't seen any civil liberties talk of you. Why not? Cindy McNichol, $5. Trolls are so lame the elevator doesn't go to the top floor too. Okay, you're referring to something I don't know what. John Smolinski, $5. Fantastic job. All right, have I caught up more or less on the Super Chats? Okay. Well, thank you everybody for watching. I want to show you one last thing. It's from Manitoba, because we showed a lot of stuff in the UK, and we showed some stuff in Toronto. But here is a tweet from Manitoba. I think it's from Steinbach, which is a small town about an hour outside Winnipeg. It's a Christian town. I've been there. A lot of Mennonites out there, good folks, farming, low-key, modest, little old school. And take a look at this. Here's just do we have the video? Is it video or? Okay, let's take a look.
And for this fascism that you are demonstrating today. That's right. This is not right.
Go close down the liquor stores. Go close down the sex shops. The stores that sell drugs. Come on. Why are they being closed? Why can't we go to church on a private property?
Exactly.
This is
God
wrong.
is essential. You are all we need them now more than ever.
Why do you guys go to Walmart and Costco? Tons of people in their cars there.
So that's in Manitoba, and that's one of a series of tweets. Can you find the tweet where she was threatened with arrest? The reporter herself. There's a reporter there from the Winnipeg Sun who took that footage. That's Malik Abbas is her name. And she became the story herself. So she was filming that, which is interesting. But then her filming it, look at this. I'm at the Church of God this morning, 15 minutes out of Steinbach, which is holding a drive-in church service in defiance of public health orders. How is that possibly in defiance of orders? You go through drive-throughs all the time. How is a drive-in church service banned, but drive-through restaurants aren't? Look at this. There's already a police presence. And look at this. I was warned by an officer that should I walk any closer, I'd be at risk of a $1,200 fine. What did her editors say? Oh, what newspaper is she with? Click her name. Winnipeg News. I think that's the Winnipeg Free Press. Sorry, I said she was with the Winnipeg Sun. My correction. She's with the Winnipeg Free Press, which is a different company. Sorry, I called her the Sun. So you're a reporter. You're reporting on a grave civil liberties violation, massive police presence, not at the Costco, not at the Walmart. Are you kidding? But at a church, a drive-in church service. And you're there to cover it. And the cops threaten you for what? For reporting on what they are doing. You're outside, by the way. There is no transmission when you're outdoors like that. And the police threaten you with a $1,200 fine. Where's the Winnipeg Free Press fighting back? I tell you one thing. If my reporters get that kind of language from a cop, and if they call me in real time, I say press on and get the cop's name and badge number because we'll sue him tomorrow. Outrageous. Outrageous. Well, it's 105. David N sends in a super chat. Justin needs a raise. Great job, all of you at Rebel, bringing us the truth. Justin's amazing. He holds the force. He really does the job. You know, I was going to keep it a secret, but I decided I'm not going to keep it a secret because there's no point in keeping it a secret. We're going to have an awards night for Best Rebels. Maybe we should have a Viewer's Choice Award too. What do you think of that? I think we should do that. I was talking with some folks here about some internal awards. I'm not going to name what they are because I want it. Well, actually, why not? Is there a reason I shouldn't? Should we want the element of surprise? It kind of gives it away. Okay, I'm not going to tell you the different categories because it sort of does give it away. So we've got 7, you know, the Dundies in Dunder Mifflin, The Office, they had their awards. This is terrible. That was a very funny episode. So we need a name for these Rebel Awards. So let me look in the super chat. Does anyone have a name? What would be a good award name for a Rebel Award for journalism or the behind the scenes staff? Like the Grill Awards, that's not really it. I'm looking in the chats right now. Chats are 26, but I see some Grill Awards, and people are saying, please discuss Tommy's court case. I spoke to Tommy just 2 nights ago. I don't have time to. The Outcast Awards, the Marauders. I'm looking real time here. Adam Award, Canadian Heroes, Bad Guy Award, the Rowdies, Shady Awards, Trump Awards, Alliance Award, Patriot, the Deplorables, Heroes, Backdoor Award, the Mutinies, Super Rebel Awards, Rebel Yells, Humanity. There's some good names here. The Human Fund Awards. That's a good one. Truth News, Heroics Award, Barbecue Excellence Award. Well, I'm going to win that one. I'm the best barbecue eater. We have other, the Big Beaver Award, Honest Journalist, Rebel Bowl, Deplorable Awards. All right, I don't see any. The Rebel Holler Award, the Rebbies. Hey, the Rebbies. Pepe Award, Rebel Rousers. Rebel Rousers, it's not bad. It's not bad. I think that's the closest one yet. Revolution. All right, that's not bad. The Rebellion, Bash the Fash. Freedom Award, it's pretty on the nose. Truther Award. I don't know. What do you think, Justin? Are any of these, Black Sheep Award, any of these doing it for you? Yeah, Yahoo's Award, the Ridge, Best Report. Freedom, you know what? I mean, I appreciate you guys with your feedback, but none of them are just ringing the bell. We have a couple weeks to figure it out. All right, I'll think about it, and I might look through some of these. But you know what? I think I have 7 awards in my mind. But I think we need a viewer's choice, don't you? I think we do. So I think maybe I'll announce that on Wednesday. I'm going to announce a prize. We'll have the website on Wednesday. The T-Bones. Just sending a note to some friends here. And by friends, I mean our team. I just sent the, I just came up with a website for it. So we'll book that. I don't want to say it out loud in case someone grabs it before we do. It'll give you a chance to vote for your favorite rebel. I'm going to think if we want more than one category. I've got 7 internal categories. I think Rebel's Choice, Viewer's Choice for, do you think one? Do you think just one? I think so, okay. Noble Canadian $5 Hazard Pay Award. Hey, maybe that's one we need. Maybe we need it. Because we've had people in hazardous conditions. I think the danger, the danger award, I think we need an 8th one. Manchester Man and Van, £10. I don't see a comment there. All right, well, you know what? So much going on, so much to do. Thank you for listening. Sorry, I got distracted there. I was thinking about this idea of an awards. I'm going to say goodbye now. I got a show tonight at 8 p.m. If you want to watch it, go to rebelnews.com, click subscribe. $8 a month for what we call Rebel News Plus. There's lots of things I would have talked about. The Bruiser Award for biggest pushback from authority. All right, I'll think about that. I bought this book for the kids today, The Pocketbook of Patriotism. It's a great book. This is a British version. I'd like to get an American version. And I know there is no such thing as a Canadian version of it. Maybe we have to commission someone to do the Pocketbook of Patriotism. It's not long. It's 64 pages. I think we can do this. I'd like to have a Pocketbook of Patriotism for Canada. This is for Britain, and Canadians can probably sympathize 2/3 with it. And if we had an American version, I think Canadians could sympathize sort of 2/3 with it, because we have so much in common with both places. This is used. I just found it online. You would need a historian and a scholar to make this. I think maybe I know just the guy. The Pocketbook of Canadian Patriotism. What do you think, Justin? Do you think it would sell? This sells for £7 British, £7 sterling. I think it's an important little book. I'm brainstorming. Let me go. Everybody, do you have a dog video? One more super chat. Rick D, $5. The RCMP union is against the recent firearms ban. CCFR website. RCMP as a political arm of the government is a problem. Members have picked a side. That's a good point. I hope that the membership is strong enough to resist some of the political direction from Trudeau's commissioner. However, if you're not particularly political and you just want to get ahead in your career, you become more and more compliant, as we see in the United Kingdom. I really find it hard to maintain my adoration for police when I see what they're doing during the pandemic. I really feel like the last 7-8 months has burned up so much goodwill that I have had. I'm 48 years old, my entire life. Total support. They rank professions by trustworthiness. Journalists and politicians and lawyers are down here. Doctors, pharmacists are up here, Cops were always at the top, right? Who do you go to for help? Who do you go to when you're lost? Who do you go to protect you? Who's right 99% of the time? Cops. Maybe I'm watching too many videos, but you see how the cops are enforcing these mask bylaws? How they're enforcing the no protest bylaws, how they're beating people up. You saw that Brit. 100 cops came rushing, but Black Lives Matter, take a knee. It's like my story about going to Malmo. You just say those magic words and they go insane. Fraser McBurney, $5. Cops should remember that they can't use the excuse by saying, I'm just obeying my chief. It didn't work for the Nazis. You're talking about the Nuremberg trials. All right, I got to go. Justin, over to you for the doggy video. Hey, everybody, thanks for joining in today. I'll see you tonight at 8 p.m. Tomorrow, Sheila Gunn Reid and David Menzies in the chair. I'll be back Wednesday, and I'll have news for you about the Viewer's Choice Award. Cheers.
Good boy. Come on, yes, 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 you can do it, yes. Yes! Good boy. There you go.